Hey YouTube, making a video for the Ultralight subreddit Season 1 YouTube collaboration meal planning, how to plan your meal themed video collaboration thing. As you can see from this background clip here, I'm still a bit of a food beginner. Haven't quite worked out how to get peanut butter out of a tube and other basic things like that. But in spite of that, I know I really like seeing how other people do things when they go backpacking. So maybe y'all will enjoy seeing how I do things. I like to do my most of my shopping, or all of it if I can get away with it, just wandering through the bulk aisles at the grocery store. It's a really easy way to find all sorts of high calorie foods since it's all going to be mostly dehydrated, so you don't have any water in it, so it gets you good, effective, efficient food for ultralight backpacking. And the other thing I really enjoy about shopping in the bulk aisles is I'll see new foods that I haven't tried before and get inspired to try something new. So on a trip I took last weekend that some of this meal planning and footage is from, I brought dried apples and cheddar cheese, and that was really good, and hadn't ever bought that before, and I just saw the dried apples in the bulk section and thought, I bet this is gonna be rad, and it was. So bulk section, thumbs up. And then sort of the other half of the equation is how much food do you bring? And the way I like to work through that is with Mike Clellan's system from Ultralight Backpacking Tips, which is a great book. You should totally get it. It's got lots of fun ideas and cute drawings and all that. So in honor of Mike Clellan's cute drawings, I tried to do some cute drawings to illustrate this part. The way the system works basically is you figure out how much food to bring just based on weight. You don't get too intense about counting your calories, but you also have some guidelines so you're not just like totally wildly guessing. So you pick an amount of food per day is where you start. I'm using Mike Clellan's default recommendation of 1.4 pounds per person per day. That's 22.4 ounces. And then you divide that into a breakfast, snacks, and dinner. There's not a lunch meal per se. A lunch break is just an extended snack break. So all of your snacks are just sort of one weight amount. You do a 4-ounce breakfast, you do a 6-ounce dinner, and then you just do the rest of it in snacks. So for breakfast, I'll often do muesli or oatmeal with some full-fat powdered milk in there. Just bring that in a Ziploc bag. You can eat it hot or you can eat it cold. Really works well for me. Sometimes I'll mix it up and bring like treats, like do stroopwafels for breakfast or something like that. For your snacks, again, I like to get things mostly from the bulk aisles because I think that's entertaining, but you could do bars, you can do anything you want. The great thing about this sort of approach is that it doesn't sort of require or suggest a particular type of food that you might like to eat. It's just, you just bring 12.4 ounces of whatever you like, and as long as it's generally pretty calorie dense, you're good to go. Dinner's the same. I like the recommendation that Mike Clellan gives also of thinking about your dinner as a base of some sort plus a sauce or a topping. So on this last trip I took polenta and couscous with some sun-dried tomatoes and miscellany as the base, and then pesto as the sauce. You could also do, instant beans as your base and Fritos as your topping is a great, super simple, super good ultralight approach. Really anything you want. And then the way you start to turn that into a meal plan for a trip is you just go through day by day. So on an overnight, it ends up looking something like this, where on day 1 you have snacks and a dinner, and on day 2 you have breakfast and snacks. So there's no one single day in there where you actually eat your full 1.4 pounds per person per day, and you use the division of breakfast, snacks, and dinner to work out the total weight of food you need to bring. And then once you start going 3, 4, 5 more days, the middle days get the 1.4 pounds of food and a breakfast, lunch, and a dinner, and they're simpler. So you just keep extending this until however long your trip is. And I just want to reiterate that the foods I'm talking about here are totally just examples of things I like to eat. What I think is so cool about this approach is that it's pretty simple, and you can bring any kind of food you want, and you basically just put a big bucket on your scale and you just dump stuff in until you get to the weight you're targeting for how much food you want to bring on your trip. And then you can be pretty confident that as long as all of your food is pretty high calorie, that's going to be a good amount of food for you. Just sort of a point of reference, if you're looking at targeting around 125 calories an ounce on average, something like pure oats, sort of a pure dry carbohydrate, ends up being about 100 calories an ounce, and like a pure fat, like olive oil or something, can get all the way up to like 200 calories an ounce. And you're looking for a mix of foods that end up averaging at around 125 calories an ounce. So if you need to bump up your calories, you add more fats. And I don't worry too much about that average, just knowing that usually it's going to work out pretty okay. So here's an example of the food that my partner and I brought on an overnight trip last weekend.
This is our food for an overnight trip for 2 people. For breakfast, we've each got a 4-ounce breakfast. So that's a total of 8 ounces of oatmeal, because there's just one breakfast on the second day. Then for snacks, we have 2 people times 2 days with 12.4 ounces per person per day. So that's 24.8, 48, 49.6 or something like that. 50 ounces of snacks for 2 days of snacks. And then lastly, dinner. We've got 6 ounces of dinner each. That's divided into 4.5 ounces of dry plus 1.5 ounces of sauce. So that's a total of 9 ounces of couscous polenta mix and 3 ounces of pesto.
Thanks for watching, and check out the other videos from the Reddit Ultralight Food Season Challenge thing. I will link them in the description, or try and link them in the last slide of this video if I can figure out how to do that, or just link to the thread on Reddit. Anyways, thanks for watching. Bye.